Peggy 16.
I guess the biggest challenges were going into something that was just so completely new. I had really no idea what it meant to be in a video game, to do motion capture, and so really it was sort of stepping into that drastically new environment, as well as just the amount of work that needed to get done. A 2,000-page script, so you're doing 30 to 40 pages every day, and so just the basic logistic of memorizing those lines and shooting scenes where they aren't, necessarily like cohesive in the narrative, because you're shooting 5 variations with each other. So those were definitely, I'd say, the biggest challenges, but they were also the things that made it the most fulfilling and exciting and just such a great exercise and experience for an actor. What surprised me the most is, I guess I was afraid, I don't know how you felt, was when there was so much to do every day and you had to go so quick from one thing to the next, but there is such sort of emotional intensity in this game and complexity. It was a matter of like, how does one get to that space quick enough, and then to the next space quick enough, and then to the next space quick enough? But I think it's a testament to David and getting to work with someone as talented as Willem, is that you really didn't have the opportunity to over-intellectualize anything. All you could do was sort of give yourself over to it, and sort of the moment I would be there and David would be talking me through it, or I'd be getting to work opposite Willem, he just sort of got you there. So that was what was so memorable and thrilling for me. The immediacy of it, I guess.
It's all performing. It's all performing. It's just conditioned different ways. And I think, to answer your other question, one of the most difficult things is the difficult thing always, and that is somehow to believe in what you're doing and doing it with a quality of engagement that is high and full, and you're using your whole soul to apply yourself to, which is hard when things are so stripped down. Because when you have furniture, when you have clothes, when you have extras, when you have the guns, when you have the buildings, all that stuff kind of orients you. Not just towards realism, but you say, okay, I know where this is. You feel more comfortable. When you take all that away, on one hand, it's freeing because anything's possible. But on the other hand, there are moments where you say, what the fuck is this? So what the fuck is this really forces you to hang on to the only thing that you have, and that is the scenes, the other actor, and you do it. And I think, I don't know how the performing in this is. That's kind of beside the point, because it's so integrated into this process that is the game. But the actual doing of it felt very committed for things that were so abstracted and so cut up. I thought it was a really good experience, and it's a credit to Ellen, because she really is the workhorse. She's the center of the story, and she has this huge character arc that it really requires an actor with real chops, and I'm sure she felt good doing it, because you feel free. You feel strong because you have no choice.
I mean, like in anything, it would obviously depend on the material. So getting to work with someone like David, who's obviously an incredible and a pioneer in what he's doing, it would be really great to step into the world again. It's a matter of course, always the material and the story and the character.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting that also one of the attractive things is, you're so, less so for Ellen, but for me, part of the thing was that they're creating this virtual likeness of me. So that makes it kind of eventful for the first time. I'm not sure whether that would be as attractive a second time, unless you were playing a character that looked quite different. But if he looked quite different, it might be less flexibility in the attractiveness of the game.
The first PlayStation. And then it sort of stopped when I was 16. So it's kind of been interesting to come back to video games again and to have missed a lot of the technological advancement. So when I sit down to play a new FIFA or the Heavy Rain or the new Tomb Raider, it's like mind-blowing and the thing's shaking and, it's like this sensory overload for me because I felt like an old person playing it. Yeah, or David's work has. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I have, yeah, not the whole thing. It's amazing. And to watch this thing and remember what you were doing on the day and to, and then to see in the environment and just to see the rendering in it, it's really quite startling. But it's also a very trippy experience to see your walk and your run and your, and to be controlling yourself is a very, very, very surreal experience. But then the game was so good that, half an hour later, I'm just like, doing everything I can to help Jodie on her path. I really love doing scenes with you. That was really, really fun. I love the scene, It's hard to say because you can't really give context to it because both things that I'm thinking of right now are two crucially, important kind of major things that I don't want to say. But I would say that the thing that was, incredibly fulfilling was having the opportunity to work with Willem in just like such a direct environment. As an actor, it's so compelling because you are getting to act out an entire scene together, and you aren't stopping to turn the camera around and to put it down here and to put and wait for the.
And you're also not anticipating coverage. You're driving the scene. You're driving the scene like you're living it. Sometimes I feel like, sometimes you work with actors and they have very good instincts of where a cut is going to be or where the camera's going to change, and they just sit in the scene and wait until that moment comes and then they pick it up. This feels really a whole piece when you act these things out. There's no tomorrow. You're just doing it now, and then it's being collected and turned into something else. And I love that feeling. That's when you really are a collaborator, and that's the creative art of performing. It's not these ideas that you have for the character. It's really about giving over to the pretending, to the being, to the making contact, and then a smart director takes that, frames it, cuts it, and
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool. I mean, we did something at the Tribeca Film Festival, and so I didn't really know what to expect that was gonna be. But it was kind of amazing, they chose a narrative to show and showed a good half an hour, 45 minutes of the game, and you could hear a pin drop. So I'm excited, very much excited for that it's so close to coming out in the world, and to, you know, have the premiere tomorrow night in the city where it was made. It sounds exciting.
Beyond Two Souls, vos décisions peuvent changer son histoire. Exclusivement sur PlayStation 3.